Thank you for inviting me. My name is Michael Scuterud. I'm a professor of economics at the University of Waterloo, the director of the Canadian Labour Economics Forum, and the Roger Phillips Scholar of Social Policy and Fellow in Residence at the C.D. Howe Institute. On my website, you'll find my disclosure statement. In it, I state, as a researcher, I deliberately avoid advocacy, as I believe I can contribute more by seeking and disseminating objective evidence than in advancing agendas. For this reason, I have throughout my career declined funding from all organizations with explicit advocacy mandates or private interests. For 20 years, my research has been focused on the economics of Canadian immigration. I come to this research as a Canadian immigrant who deeply values Canada's exceptional record in combining high immigration levels with broad public support for immigration. What explains Canada's exceptionalism? It's not complicated. Canada's geography and non-porous borders enables it to be highly selective in the immigrants it admits. Since 1967, we've relied on a point system that prioritizes skilled workers. The consequence is that the wage suppression effects of immigration are concentrated at the top end of the income distribution, so that immigration tends to, if anything, reduce, not exacerbate economic inequality. In Canada, lower income citizens don't see immigrants as competition, but they see them instead as doctors and professors and scientists who make their lives better. But sadly, what we've seen in recent years is a dismantling of Canada's skilled immigration system, as policymakers have become obsessed with plugging holes in lower skilled labor markets. In March 2016, I received an email from Immigration Minister John McCallum requesting feedback on 6 policy questions. A group of 9 academic economists met with the minister 3 weeks later to discuss his questions, and on May 10th, we sent him a 32-page written response. I think it's safe to say the feedback was never read by any of Mr. McCallum's 3 successors. In rereading the feedback, there's little doubt in my mind that the mess the system finds itself in now could have been avoided if our recommendations had not been ignored. First, we advised against introducing a low-skill component to the express entry system, which is precisely what category-based selection has done. Second, we warned the government to proceed carefully in expanding foreign student admissions in 2-year college programs that are focused on selling immigration, not education. Third, we recommended that the comprehensive ranking system for prioritizing economic class immigrants include as criteria both applicants' field of study and the post-secondary institution from which they graduated. To anyone who believes federal government policy is not responsible for the explosive growth in foreign student admissions that we've seen, I recommend comparing the federal government's 2014 and 2019 International Education Strategy reports. What you'll see is an unambiguous shift in focus from attracting and retaining the, quote, best and brightest to, quote, diversifying foreign students' fields, levels, and locations of study. By 2019, there was a recognition that the potential to scale up foreign student entries and in turn immigration levels lay in the colleges who were struggling to fill their seats with domestic students. The system became fixated with growth and quantity and lost sight of the consequences for quality and our skilled immigration system. For the past decade, Canadian voters have been told by their federal government that significant increases in immigration levels would be a tonic for Canada's sluggish economic growth. For academic economists who study immigration and understand how economies work, this narrative might have felt good but it wasn't true. We warned the government, but nobody likes a cold shower, and we were ignored. We are seeing the consequences now. Thank you again for the invitation, and I'm happy to take questions.